Hey everybody, welcome to the Absolute Awesome Show, Episode 6, another fun-filled, action-packed show. Um, Welcome to my guest hosts, Mr. Josh and Mr. Johnny Walker. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Hey, I don't know what Cliff's trying to show up there on the screen.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Hey!
Oh, we got a new red shirt. That's cute.
Hey! How's it going, you guys? Yeah.
It looks really good. Like we can see your browser in the reflection of whatever it is you're showing. It looks really good. Thank you for that.
A lot of self-portraits, man. You know, those self-portraits are hard to deal with.
Is that another classic cassette tape that you got there, Cliff?
Yes, sir. Classic cassette tape.
Awesome.
That was
Here we
for
are,
Creepy
episode
Huntington
six.
in case he decides to ever watch.
That's not going to happen. Yes.
I can't believe Mr. Digital doesn't come on our show. It's crazy.
What? Who's Mr. Digital?
Keithy, man.
Oh, Keith, yeah.
I think he has like video games to play and anime to watch, and you know, there's more important things in life than talking to us.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it goes. That's all right.
It's the way it goes. So it's been 2 weeks since we got together. What's the exciting good news in everyone's life? Josh.
Did you see my intro to this show? Anyone?
I'm guessing it took you the entire 2 weeks that we had off to produce that.
That's all I've been doing.
Yeah, I imagine so.
I think it had, last I checked, 3 views on YouTube. So it's pretty positive. Little disappointing slightly because, you know, I spent 2 weeks working on the thing. Very awesome graphics and everything. But the thing is, it's a promo for this show, and no one's going to watch it now because this show is happening. So why would you go watch a promo after you already see the show? You know what I mean? So,
well, you could edit the beginning of it and just like keep using the same one and just put a different guest's name at the beginning and just keep using it until you get an appropriate number of viewers.
10 viewers.
10.
You know, Mike, if you watched it, you would see that's not really how the video goes. It's not like there's a guest name in the beginning. I don't know. Don't worry about it. It's awesome.
Hey, I was 2 of the 3 viewers. I'm well aware of how the video.
I was not 2 of the 3 viewers. I was not 1 of the 3 viewers. I did not watch it.
You guys, it was.
Christy watched it. Christy said she's 1 of the 3.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Walker household was 1 of the 3. Just I didn't see it.
I think these YouTube counter things are broken because I watched it like 80 or 90 times.
I think it only counts you once.
Maybe they're just knocking off all the zeros. So maybe it's got 3,000 views, and for some reason it's having trouble with the zeros.
30,000 views. 300,000 views. 3 million views.
Could be up to 3 million by now.
30 million views.
All right. We're
300 million views. 3 billion moves. 30 billion moves.
You're really good.
We've now shifted from views to moves.
I don't know why. 300 billion views.
All right.
3
Listen.
trillion views.
How do you get him to stop, Mike? What do you hit the mute button?
I can eject him. I can kick him out of the room. But he is kind of a host, so that would not be appropriate.
All right. Anyway,
Well, you know.
It didn't really take me that long. No, it actually only took me maybe like a half hour because I went on the App Store and found an app that has really cool graphics, and I was able to make that thing really cool really quickly. And yeah, but I'm proud of it, and I'll do it again next time because it worked so well this time.
The picture I saw was just Kelly in bed. Was she in it?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna tell you.
I just saw the picture.
Spoil the ending. You gotta just watch it.
Okay.
After the show, Cliff, after the show, go watch it, and you'll give Josh his 4 millionth view.
4 trillion.
Do we want to get right into it, or do you want to talk more about the news, Mike?
I don't know. What news do we have to talk about?
I mean, Guns N' Roses news, but we can talk about that later, right?
Yeah, we could talk about it later.
Or we could talk about it now.
We could talk about it now, and then put our guest at a slight disadvantage when he comes in late to the conversation. We could.
Well, he can hear it. He is all-knowing, all-seeing. So I think yes, that's right. God is our guest today.
No, here's
The Absolute
He can
Awesome
unmute
Show
himself
featuring
whenever he feels like he needs to.
God. Yes.
I think we should just get right to it and bring in our guest because we're not sure if he is hidden from this.
Yeah, people might be seeing him anyway. The whole hide thing.
And they just saw him
wasn't
crying,
working.
so that's messed up that he can't talk. I mean,
Yeah.
he's our guest, but if he's stuck there in just a tiny little box without being able to have a voice, that's really sad. Normally, our guest is totally hidden, but some kind of technical malfunction that we figured out right now, or that we didn't figure out. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Unless
It's called using free software that we don't have to pay for,
Well, see,
and dealing with whatever bugs come along with
the
it.
problem is when you have God on your show.
How can you hide him?
Correct. You can mute his voice. You cannot let him talk, but he will be seen.
He will be seen.
That's right.
Yes.
you're the last
This should theoretically be our most watched episode ever. With that being the case, so.
Very true.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll do that because if people are seeing him and it kind of takes away the whole like mystery and the whole fun thing of introducing. So
And if they're not seeing him, then this is all just like for nothing.
right,
We
we're
don't
all
know
just
him.
talking, and you're like, what on earth are these guys
Find
talking
out.
about? They've got God in the room, and they see him, and we don't, and it's so
All right.
a little crazy there.
Hey,
So I'll just go ahead and let Mr. Seth be unmuted. Actually, Seth has to unmute himself. There he goes.
Hello.
He is here.
Hello, is this on?
It
Hi.
is.
man, I can hear you, and you look a little bit brighter, but that's probably just because you're.
See, I think he looks darker than he did before.
I don't have much stuff here to work with.
Turn on
Well,
the backlight, man.
That's 20 more minutes of
There
his
is the
beard
back-
problem.
That is the backlight.
Wow.
I don't have a front light. I mean I do, but it's my iPhone and it's plugged in
That's awesome.
with a flashlight,
That's cool.
kind of reflecting. Trying.
You're
doing what I can.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
But before we jump into what we sort of tried to segue into a minute ago, why don't we introduce this bearded man and kind of give him an opportunity to tell us who he is and what he's all about.
Oh my.
Exactly, because since no one watched my promo video, no one knows who you are. So.
I watched the promo video.
Oh, really?
There.
So you?
I was one of the views of the promo.
Telling you, YouTube counter is broken, man, because that's
Well-
like 4 right there.
I
Josh.
legit saw it. I saw the
Josh.
piano.
You and Kelly watched it on the same computer. It's going to count that as one.
Well, I made it on my phone, and Kelly was on the
Oh.
computer. If you watched it, you'd see that Kelly's on the computer, so I couldn't have been using. Never mind. I'm over it.
True. Some
Our
Google
guest.
algorithm. Yes, hello. Hi.
Seth W.
Yes, hello.
I've been calling you
Greetings.
that.
Hi, Josh.
I've been
Yes.
calling you that. I mean, that's what everyone called you back in the day, and that's SethW.com. That's so you still kind of go by that, right? Just because you don't like to say your own last name, is that right? Or
Well,
what?
I do, but no, it goes back to elementary school. Right. It goes back to elementary school when there was another Seth in the school. There was 2 Seths. He was Seth R. I was Seth W. So I kind of kept.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I kind of took on the Seth W thing for my one-man band thing because it was fun and reminded me of childhood stuff. So
And you're German, correct?
German-ish, yes.
Yeah.
Kaiser, yeah, there's the
right.
H
So
in
it's
there.
Kaiser.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right. You were like, because my grandmother's maiden name was Kaiser. You're work Kaiser. So
I
you
am.
probably were like my great grandparents' servants. Or something.
Also being from
Worked for the
Pennsylvania.
Kaiser.
Right, also being from Pennsylvania, I know every other Wertheiser that there is. Because everyone has, do you know John Wertheiser? Of course I do, yeah. I get that a lot. Do you know Clyde Wertheiser? Oh, Clyde, the farmer. No. So
Were there any other Wertheisers growing up for real for you?
there was another kid in school, yeah, but that was it.
Seriously? Somebody else had your
he's-
last name? That's amazing.
Yeah, he spelled it without an H, though. So he was kind of not the real deal.
Yeah, but that was probably just a misspelling when he came to America and they spelled it wrong on the little.
When
At
he
the
came,
statue.
yeah.
Well,
yes,
not
when he
him.
came, yeah.
Yes.
Right. In the mid '90s, yes. Yeah. So.
Cool, dude.
All right, so that covers your last name.
my genealogy. We've
Moving
covered
on.
that. Yes.
What do you do? Tell people what you do.
What do I do?
What you're known for.
I'm known for starting 2 prominent music blogs over the years. I started BuzzGrinder.com back in 2001. And I started NoiseCreep.com for AOL Music back in 2009. So those are my 2 big things.
So do you do anything with Noise Creep anymore, or is that?
Not at all. Nope. I left AOL Music in early 2011. And then I think it was a year later, AOL Music completely shut down. And then
Because you left?
Yeah, it was a dark day. Yeah, we said we can't do it without you. And then they sold all the music properties, almost all the music properties, to Town Square Media, which does Loudwire and some other sites. So, and now Noise Creep kind of sits there with like Pearl Jam and Green Day contests on it and stuff.
I did a little bit of homework on some of these sites that I wasn't familiar with, such as Noise Creep. And just to see kind of what was still going on, and that one is still active.
Yep.
I saw some things on it that I thought were kind of interesting. There was like there's a list section. You can go and look at all the lists. And
lots of lists.
Just like I don't know, the lists are always funny to me because they're one person's opinion and everybody disagrees with them. And we recently got on a list of most influential Christian punk bands or something of the late night or something like that. Someone came out and it was like MXPX was at the top, and I think we were at 11 or 12 or something on the list.
Right.
We were 6, man. We were 6. Get it right.
Or maybe we were. I don't know. We weren't top 5 or we weren't top 10. It was one of those.
Strong 5. Yeah. Grr.
The bands that were on this list that were behind us were all bands that if they were in front of us, then I would have flipped out. But it was like Noggin Toboggan and some like Sick of Change. These bands were like on the same list that we were, but they were behind us. Just wow, we made the list, but who else is on this list?
So chances are good that they basically put every conceivable band on the list and just assigned a number to them. It really doesn't make any bit of difference that we were 5 or 10 or 55 or 75 because every band was on the list.
Crash Dog was not on the list?
No, it was the top 20, I think. Pretty sure it was top 20.
The Blamed was not on the list?
No, they were not. No.
The Crucified was not on the list?
This was on Loudwire?
No, it was on something with an R.
Oh, relevant.
With an R.
You're right. It was relevant.
One of those websites that starts with R.
It was relevant.
Thank you. Okay. Hey, I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to read the list. Oh, yeah, let's read it. Relevant.
The one list that I saw on Noise Creep was 10 rockers forgetting lyrics on stage, and that was really funny because it was actually a YouTube list, and it went through 10 famous, like Billy Joe from Green Day, like singing a song and forgetting the lyrics, and then of course there's a lot of metal guys that I don't know, like Five Finger Death Punch was on there. You probably know who they are, but I don't know who.
All right, are you guys ready? You guys ready for this? You got to hear this.
Do it.
Number 1, MXPX. Number 2, which I think is a huge slap in the face. It's ridiculous to me. Reliant K. No joke. Number 2, most influential Christian punk rock band.
They're huge, man.
Let me see. I'm sorry, this isn't anything about influential. It's just the definitive ranking of bands from Christian pop punk's glory days. So this is pop punk. Reliant K is number 2. Pop punk, guys. Pop punk. Number 3, Five Iron Frenzy. Pop punk, guys. Okay? All right. Then we have number 4, Goaty Hook. Number 5, Slick Shoes. Number 6, Squad 5-0. Number 7, I'm very insulted this band is in front of us, Dogwood. Give me a break. Number 8, Pop punk, guys. Pop punk. The OC Supertones. Number 9. Pop punk. 90-pound wuss. Number 10. Craig's brother. Oh, yep, Josh was right. We are number 11. The Huntingtons.
Wow.
Needless to say, we're the only Ramones band that ever even was ever in that scene remotely at all. We're the only one that was an actual part of the real pop punk scene, not new school punk, not any of that. The real pop punk scene we were actually a part of. Anyway,
But pop punk is not pop punk anymore. It's
right. I know. Not number 12. Number 12 though. You got to hear this. Watishi Y. Watishi Wa. That's right under us. It's ridiculous. What? Yes. Number 13. Hangnail made one album. Number 14. Noggin Toboggan. Number 15. Sick of Change. I don't even know who that is.
Wow.
So there you go.
Is the article written by relevant staff, or does it have an actual?
No, it is. It's a real thing. It's by a guy named Jesse Carey. Jesse Carey is a contributing editor to Relevant and a mainstay on the weekly Relevant podcast. He's also a really funny guy, as evidenced by his Twitter account. So
cool.
It's just crazy.
Usually those top 10 lists are usually staff generated, so then no one gets ridiculed for it. Writer doesn't have to get drugged through the mud for it. But there he does, so have at it.
He was. Right. It's a pretty bad list.
I like reading the lists because, I myself I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? But then,
sure.
But what's even more fun is reading everyone's reactions to it and whatnot.
And yes, and all those reactions and comments are turned into page views and ad impressions, and that's why there's 8,000 of them published every day. So
yeah.
Sorry if I sound a little jaded and cynical, but
hey, why don't you tell us about the music blogs? How the downfall of them? What's happening with it? Is it just a part of the ever-dwindling, dying music scene in general, and that's why it's like? Tell us about it.
For me, I would say, like, real music blog kind of peak kind of came 2005, 6, 7 kind of area. That's when a lot of people finally found out about what music blogs were, and when an influential or bigger site mentioned a band and gave them a good review, album sales actually went up because of that. But over the years, those mentions on blogs don't count for much because now there's 9,000 billion music blogs. Everyone has an opinion, everyone's a critic, everyone's a writer, so they just don't count as much. And I've seen music blogs that I've seen bands that get coverage here and there, and like first week sales are like under 1,000. So, I mean that's music in general, but it's also too like these music blogs just, I don't know, don't pull the weight like they used to.
So you're saying that there are more music blogs in existence than Josh's promo got views on YouTube. That's what we're breaking it down to, right?
View.
I think there's more music blogs in existence than there are new albums coming out.
Yes.
And the fact that new albums coming out don't sell more than, well, they don't sell anything because people just get music for free now anyway, and they don't. It's not a commodity that
any band can invest a very small amount of money and record their own stuff in their basement and put it on Bandcamp or put it wherever they want. So now you're oversaturated. You have a super oversaturated market with so much garbage that
they also don't need to buy the album because they can just stream it now legally on a variety of sites. No one needs to download and pay for albums anymore either. Yes, they can download illegally. They don't even have to download from iTunes. iTunes sales have been down the past 2 years. Music streaming is up, and so yeah, it's kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a scary time.
Well,
but
it's also, music is just it's it's not anything anybody really connects with for any length of time anymore. Back
Sure.
when we were all younger, it was like some dude's favorite band. When he got too old and he went to college or whatever, his younger brother or younger sister got into those same bands, and it was like the bands were passed down from the generations almost, or to the younger brother and sisters.
Sure.
And now music is literally lasts for 5 seconds, and they're on something else.
Right. So. It's like, oh, there's a new record coming out. Let me listen to 4 seconds of it on YouTube. Oh, this doesn't sound as good as the last 3 records. So this is stupid. This is junk. Right. On to the next thing. So, yeah, it's weird out there. And then also too, you have the idea too that ad revenue, like advertisers, who clicks on banner ads? No one. And who clicks on banner ads on a mobile device? Even less people. You click it by accident. And more web traffic is moving to a mobile device, so the display advertising money is drying up. But you still have to get more content out there all the time, which is why all these music blogs are posting every hour, every 30 minutes, just so they have something new to tweet about, something new to throw up on Facebook, something new to put in an email newsletter. Now this is times 10, 25, 50 music blogs that are out there. Like, how much can anyone pay attention to all of that?
Yeah, and while they're hoping that it catches on some kind of Facebook feed or whatever, and it becomes a total like share thing that goes around.
Right.
And then by the time it gets back around to you, it's like, oh, I already read this.
Right, but even still, with a lot of those things, like it's not a secret. Those on Twitter, the Bitly links, the link shortener things called Bitly.
I'm not on Twitter.
I don't think any of us on Twitter. To be honest,
that's perfectly okay, because it goes to this point is that there's a link shortener called Bitly. You take your big long link and then you put it in Bitly, and it makes it shorter. Okay, fine. Well, if you add a plus sign to the end of those links, it tells you the exact number of traffic that those links, like people clicked on it. So there's a handful of these Twitter's people that have 60,000 followers, and you look at some of their Bitly links, and it gets like 30 clicks, 40 clicks.
Well, that's because it shows you that everyone's faking their number of followers anyway.
Or even if either they have 60,000 fake, or a handful are fake, or they just aren't that engaged. They're just not even seeing all this stuff because everyone's tweeting every 12 seconds to go click here.
Right. Well, sure. It's like on Facebook. If you have 2,000 followers, just like I've got 2,000 people are on my friends list, right? And
sure.
If I have them all, I have to actually go and unfollow everybody who's not my friend, or else I'll literally not see anything, because it's just everything something new every literally half a second,
right.
And most of it goes right by, and I'll never even know if I even want to know. I'll never know. I'll never see something maybe cool that Keithy Huntington posted, or whatever. I'll never see it because it's too much. And then you take that, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff out there, and I think that's what's affecting the music blog world. In that, in 2011, after I left Noise Creep, I had a lot of people that were like, "Oh, you gonna start another metal blog?" No, not at all. And that's why I started Skull Toaster, and that's this other thing I do, which is metal trivia that I do on Twitter. And it doesn't require you to click a link to read the story. I wanted to get away from that, and this was in 2011. It was like, I'll just put up a metal trivia question, and a person replies to it right there. They don't have to click anything. It's the natural thing you do on Twitter. You can just reply with your answer.
Yeah.
And that's been awesome. So.
All right. Well, Josh mentioned too that you're writing for a metal magazine or a metal webzine. Is that right?
I am. Yes, I'm.
Insider, right?
Yes, I write news posts for Metal Insider. So today I wrote about Faith No More playing on the Jimmy Fallon show last night, and 2 other things. Yeah.
Cool.
So I do that on the side. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess that's.
I know. I'm railing on music blogs. Yes, and I write for one. So.
Nice.
Well, is that a music blog?
Just so everyone's aware,
yeah.
Mike is going to check on this situation because we got a question that said in the Q&A. It said that for some reason the guest is not visible. It's just a black screen. We don't want that, Seth. Hopefully,
no.
Seeing
I don't.
in all your glory, but
I don't know what that would be. Yeah,
I see him. I think it's just
we are. Yeah. No, I'm saying
GHR.
someone who's watching this is not seeing him.
Correct, but he's seeing just he might not have a real. I would think Joe probably has a really nice computer, but maybe he doesn't, or maybe it's on his phone or something. And then Seth is pretty fairly dark, so he might not be seeing
Mike, did you figure that out? I see your back.
Yeah, he is not showing up in the YouTube feed. The only thing I could possibly suggest at this point would be for Seth to disconnect and click the link and come back in.
Oh my!
And we could. I mean, we're not going to do the whole thing all over again because people can hear you.
Yes.
You are audible to everyone, but when you speak, it's just a blank screen for some reason.
Weird.
So, haven't had this issue before, but it could go back to when we were trying to hide you in the beginning, and that wasn't working. And, who knows? But if you wouldn't mind, just pop out, click the link, join again, and then we'll see if that works.
I will. I'll be right back.
Cool, man.
Beep boop.
And while he's out, we can talk about this Guns N' Roses thing.
That was the whole point of bringing him in. And then no one could see him. So as soon as he comes back in, we'll hit the Guns N' Roses thing. Let's see. He joined the call.
Hey, I can see him really good now. Wow.
Look at me, really good.
I can actually see you.
Really? Wow.
It's because Cliff told you that you were too dark or whatever. Whatever you did to change that, that's what turned you off. So
I did so much in that time that I was away.
Seth.
Yes.
I've never in my life heard about a band called Australian Crawl. I never heard of them ever, ever. And I'm Mr. 80s guy, right? Because they were. Okay. I don't know if they were an Australian band. I'm guessing they were, but maybe they maybe never made it out of Australia. But apparently they had a song called "Unpublished Critics."
The time before bloggers, yeah.
Yes, and I went and listened to it before you got on. Because the guys were talking, and they said, and I said something about, I saw something in the news about Sweet Child of Mine and being.
You were total like Cliff mode, like, man, are they trying to say they ripped him off? Yeah, right. Like anyone ripped off that song, you're like going into your whole thing, and so 100%. And then
and then I listened to it, and at the beginning of the song, I'm just thinking, all right, well, it's D, G, and C. Who cares? Whatever. Like every other million in songs, and it was the early '80s, so it kind of had that little bit of an early '80s kind of bop to it, And then the singing started, and then the chorus came on, and I'm like, holy cow! But then I'm thinking, how could the Guns N' Roses guys really have even heard of that and then tried to rip it off? Of course, Axl's always really been into wanting to be different and wanting to be very in the know. That's why he knew about Hanoi Rocks for years when hardly anybody did. And of course, everybody knows about it now, but still, all that kind of stuff. So he could have, but I still think it's such a marginal thing that I wonder if a 23-year-old Axl Rose could have possibly have heard of Australian Crawl.
Right, had access to it.
Right.
I don't know how. Yeah.
But it's amazing how much it sounds like it.
Just go to a record store and try and find an obscure record and then buy it and then hope that it sounds good or whatever,
Well, sure, that happened all the time. That's how I got turned on to a band called Mass and their album called New Birth, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. And even like Autograph, a band like, Turn Up the Radio and all that. Different bands from back then, but Australian Crawl, dude, did they have an album released in any record store in America ever?
No, probably because you just listen to the song, but if you read the article, it said, they actually made they were #1 in Australia for a little while, but that meant that they were. What's that?
I just said, oh wow.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be #2. I thought you knew.
No.
I bet I did, but I just don't know. I don't know exactly what they were, but they were pretty big in Australia. But
in 1981, Axl Rose was literally 17 or 18 years old.
Right. That song came out 3 years prior to Appetite for Destruction. So
Right. Well, that song came out in 1981. Appetite for Destruction came out in 1987.
okay,
So 6 years. But so in 1980, you got to realize, and when Appetite for Destruction came out, Axl Rose was 26 or 27 years old. So in 1981, he would have been like 19. He would have been like 20 years old, and you have to think about, and he was living in Indiana at that time. So how was Bill Bailey in 1981 listening to Australian Crawl living in Indiana?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he
see how that's possible.
he didn't necessarily have to listen to it in 1981.
Correct, but right, he could have discovered it when he was 22 or 23. Yeah. Maybe some friend that he had was corresponding with, overseas. Maybe he was into tape trading, and maybe they had something, and maybe they sent him a tape through the mail. Could be anything, right? But still, that much distance. Like, I was in the tape trading scene when I was 16 years old, but all the bands that I was listening to, they were all like metal bands in America, and no one ever, it wasn't even back then, it wasn't, I mean, that's like my generation and my time, and I'm telling you, I had no access or availability here in any way, not in any of the small little zines I read back then or anything else, to hear about really anything that was happening in other countries. The only time that Americans really even heard about anything in any other countries is when it was so huge and they toured America and it became big over here, like AC/DC, obviously the metal bands, Judas Priest and all like that. But had any of you guys ever remotely heard of this band before this came out?
I have not. I would think that, I'm sure Mike hasn't, but Seth, you'd be the only one that I think maybe.
But no, right?
No, but why now? Why in 2015?
Yeah.
No one's. It's not going to like a lawsuit or anything. Like from the handful of things I've read about it, the singer of Australian Crawl, he's been questioned about it because someone just noticed, hey, this is really similar. Hey, let's go hunt this guy down and see what he thinks. And from everything I've read, the guy has no intention of suing them over plagiarism. And from one article I read actually said after Australian Crawl broke up, the singer formed a cover band and they actually covered Sweet Child of Mine. So how ironic is that?
Right.
So he didn't seem like, oh, geez, I heard Sweet Child of Mine and thought immediately they ripped off my song. He never really cared.
It sounds like a guy that was understood how incestuous music is by nature.
Yeah, I mean, this one is a bit perplexing. I mean, you listen to it and I'll give you an example. So I listened to it and I had already read the headline. And so my brain is already focused on trying to find the similarities. That's just what we do as human beings. We're like, yep, I'm looking for it. So that wasn't a very good, way of going into it. So I took it in and I played it for Jen without telling her anything. And she's not a huge music fan. I said, here, tell me what you think this sounds like. And as soon as that chorus hit, where that same melody hits at the beginning of the chorus, immediately, oh, that sounds like Sweet Child of Mine, immediately. Wow. And it does a lot. And it's not just one section. It's like the whole song.
Well, the verses too. The verses have the same melody too. It's just the melody is slower, honestly, because even though the Guns N' Roses is a ballad and this is a rock song, the actual tempo of Sweet Child of Mine is faster than this.
Correct. But melody-wise,
but the melodies of the verses are the same too. I know.
Yep. Absolutely.
But I just still wonder how in the world Bill Bailey could have possibly have heard of this song. It just still with how music traveled back then, how it actually happened, I don't see how it could humanly have been possible. I mean, this guy, he was Bill Bailey until Guns N' Roses hit, then he was somebody. But until '87, he was literally, no one had a freaking clue. 85, they had that little EP that nobody outside of in 1985 they had the EP and nobody outside of LA knew who they were. Nobody had any idea who Guns N' Roses was until all this stuff started happening on MTV in 1987. So in 1985, okay, he was Axl Rose and he was in a band, but still, even at that point, he was in a nobody band that made their own little vinyl record in a little local crappy label, and it's like, how is it possible?
Yeah, chances are good. It's just a really incredible coincidence, but I mean.
But it is amazing how much it is like that.
Yeah, it is. If it was just one or two little pieces here and there, it'd be like, so what? you know. So
There'd really be a problem if there was
and obviously the Guns N' Roses song has the where do you go, where did we go to, what's it,
right,
that
where
breakdown?
do you go now?
Right. The original song doesn't have that little breakdown.
Right.
And obviously the guitar work isn't anywhere near as or the soloing is anywhere near as good as Slash's soloing.
No, I mean when you actually listen to "Sweet Child of Mine," it's amazing because it's just those simple chords, and yet the song from beginning to end sounds so developed. It sounds so full. It sounds so musical. It sounds so professional and like it sounds gifted, even from a guitarist standpoint. When it's so simple, that's amazing.
It's a song.
Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, that's basically how when you hear that song, it's like everyone knows that song. But when I read that article, I kind of the same thing Mike did. I went and listened to it, and I was like, okay, I'm looking for the do 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 do, but that doesn't happen. But then it doesn't take very long before you realize, oh, this is the same song, pretty much. But Mike, I did the same thing that you did to Jen, only I didn't tell Kelly. Hey, what do you think this sounds like? I just put it on and said, check out this song or whatever, like let me know what you think. And then so just like let it play, and then she's like every now and then she would look at me because it's not like a great song. It's like, why would you listen to this? Just would look at me funny and be like, okay, and then finally she was like, starts to sing the Axl parts and stuff. She's like, and it's like what? But like she was singing it before she even knew before she made the connection that it was that song, and then she's like, "Oh, wait, what's going on here?" So like because that's where it came from. It was kind of cool. I mean,
well, I'm pretty sure.
I wish I could have experienced it that way, Well,
it's amazing that though when you think about this, the guy would if he wanted to make money, because there's a lot of huge amounts of money in that song still to this day. Because it's played on the radio all the time. Axl Rose personally still makes a ton of money from that song today. All of the guys do. So and he would do all kinds of back pay, all kinds of tons of money. But I'm pretty sure that in that lawsuit they would have to prove that it was possible for Axl to have heard it and for the band to have heard it. That's the only thing with any of these lawsuits is you have to prove. Like that's why some little guy with little cassette demo of his own thing that makes a song that might have sounded like something that somebody else did and got a hit with, they always lose because they would have had to prove, well, how could this artist could have possibly have heard of this? And the most that they could say that they could try to claim is, well, I sent it to them, which that never works. So that's the only difficulty. And when we go back to how music traveled back then, and how it all worked, I believe it would be pretty darn difficult to try to prove that in any kind of court thing. And any decent lawyer, I think, could probably tear that apart.
Yeah, and he's not the singer for that Australian crawl band, and everything that I've read so far doesn't seem even a little bit interested in pursuing something like that. It just
which makes him even cooler. He wrote "Sweet Child of Mine" way before GNR did. And he's not trying to make $1 billion off it. He must be happy, and he's like, God bless that guy.
Until his record label at the time then tries to get in on the act and tries to get some money.
Yeah, but they probably don't exist anymore.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Probably gone.
Yeah. Anyway, Seth, man.
Yeah.
How old are you? Can I ask that?
Yeah. It's funny. In 7 days, I turned 39.
Okay.
Is he youngin'?
Yeah. Youngin', yeah, totally.
On our last episode, I was 34, but now I'm 35.
Oh, fun. Excellent.
And in 2 weeks, I'll be 37.
Oh, wow. Quick.
Seth just said, wow. That's what I said. Wow.
Hey there. But no, it feels good. I'm stoked to be 39 and still listening to the music that I love, and I just bought a bass recently. I still ride my bike. I still listen to good music. Like I'm stoked. Life's good.
So you're not part of the 33 crowd?
The who crowd? The what?
You want to explain it to him, Mike?
Yeah, why not? Okay, so 2 weeks ago, well, we do this show every 2 weeks, and one of the topics 2 weeks ago was an article, kind of a silly article, but it was fun to talk about.
I think I know what you're talking about. Go
Yeah, it
ahead.
was some silly thing about, like, once you hit the age of 30, I think it was 33, then you just stop caring about anything that's new in music, and you've already established what you like, and the way that I took
That's
that
me
is,
tearing up that article.
yeah. I mean, the way that so you didn't write that one then. That's
I
no-
did not. No.
Okay.
Seth is an anomaly.
I think the idea of it being like a research piece was pretty stupid. Like, how are you going to really research this? But I actually kind of not agree with that across the board. That's the case, but it's kind of the case for me. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be 39 in two months or so,
Okay.
and I feel like 33 was probably right about the time where I just stopped caring about anything that I didn't already like.
Sure.
Not that I can't hear a song and say, yeah, it's a good song. That's a good song, but I'm not going to buy the album. I don't want to rehash everything I said 2 weeks ago, but I don't know. So I'm going to guess that you don't agree with that, though.
No, I mean, there was a point, one of my negative points when I was at AOL Music, there was I had my freelance budget cut in half, and then I had my budget cut in half. So it was a dark time for a time there.
You used to get paid for that?
Yeah, I did.
You had a salary to do that?
Yeah. I had a New
Wow.
York City salary. New
How
York
much did
City
you make?
AOL Music. I did well.
Wow.
You work for
Yeah.
AOL Music. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's
I
incredible.
had an apartment in Williamsburg. Well, I had one roommate, but I did well. Yes.
Hey, question: did Conrad ever pay you for Decapolis?
What? No. Why? Me? Why would he pay me?
Well, I don't know. He never paid me. I was just wondering if he ever paid you.
Oh no.
He never paid me. He should have paid me for all I contributed to that message board,
Totally.
man.
No, but I would go rate shows. I just did Decapolis because I wanted free CDs,
Sure.
and I got into some free shows, but like
Which is
Social
always nice.
Distortion.
Yep.
But I was like, I'll go review Social Distortion, get me tickets, and
Right. And that was nice back then, for sure. Yeah, to do that, to get access like that. What I was getting at is once I got like my freelance budget cut, my budget cut, all that stuff, I went to a very dark, negative place where I didn't seek out music. People would ask me, "Oh, did you hear that new?" No, I didn't. I'm listening to my old botch CDs. Leave me alone. I was like a cranky old metal guy. I was cranky there to begin with because I was the only guy in band T-shirts and jeans. But I got even more cranky. So there was a time when I wasn't seeking out new music. But in my rebirth after I left AOL Music, I biked around the country for a bit, and that just became like, I love finding new music. Like, absolutely. Bandcamp, Rdio. I'm always finding new stuff.
Wow.
I find it now. I'm finding stuff that like I fall in love with, like on Bandcamp or something. Like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever! I can't wait to. Oh, this band broke up in 2012.
yeah.
Like, I find that all the time. So.
Well, bands only last for about 6 months now.
Well, yes, they cannot sustain, correct? Because no one buys anything. So yeah, they all have to go back to work.
Dude, Joe Chiachero has a freaking Apple Watch. That's hilarious. Way to go, Joe. Okay, anyway, so
Yes.
Out of nowhere.
I know. I want to take this into a different little different part of the same thing, but I would say part of that age, and maybe even younger, or maybe one of the offshoots of that age, is not only stop caring about new music with everyone else except Seth,
Sure.
but I think it's even more than that, is that you tend to discard recently discovered music that you like, and you tend to even revert back to what you liked as a teenager, and then you tend to that lifts that up, and then that becomes your focus. Did that happen at all to you, Mike? Maybe in like teenager, early 20s, that music became your central focus again. Or did you still, everything that you liked up until you were 33, you kept still following, and with the same kind of fervor, or with that newer stuff that you liked, even in the last year or two before you hit that age, did you kind of discard that, or that took a big backseat and you just went back to what you loved when you were like 18 through like 22, 23?
I'll try to answer it this way. I haven't added any. Okay, so I'm kind of. This is funny to say. It's funny to refer to it as old school and talk about an iPod. But so I don't do like a whole heck of a lot of like Spotify. I do a little bit. I do a little bit of the streaming, that sort of thing. But I still do have an 80 gigabyte iPod Classic that doesn't.
Heck yeah.
That does not connect to the internet. That does not have any fancy things on it.
Correct.
And I've got a nice little docking station in the kitchen. So if I'm cooking a meal or I'm doing something in there, I got the remote, I plug it in. I have not added anything to that iPod. I'm going to say since I was 33. This is a nice round number since that's the number of the article. But it has been years and years, maybe even 10 years.
You don't even add something new to it that was from your youth?
Well, I pretty much have everything from my youth on it.
Oh, okay.
It's got about 9,000 songs on it. By album.
So I send you an album and you just ignore it. I send you an album from like 15, 30 years ago and you just.
Well, ignore it might be strong. I don't ignore it. I might listen to it, but it's not going on the iPod.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't take it with you then. Yeah, you listen to it on the computer, but it's not important enough to take with you everywhere you go.
Everything that I would care to have is on that iPod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mike. I remember being in your kitchen, like, whenever we were, probably the last time I was at your house, 3 years, whenever we did that Screeching Weasel show, and we practiced at your house, I remember being in your kitchen, and you were playing the newest Riverdale's CD for Rick. You remember that?
Might have been through the phone. I am almost 100%. I can't be 100% positive. I'm pretty darn close to 100% positive that I have not added anything to that iPod in just years and years and years and years and years.
Even if it's like a Cure comes out with a new album, it doesn't get on there?
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
What do you do with, like, when the Cure buys a new album and you love the Cure, they put out a new album, what do you do with it?
When's the last time that happened?
I don't know, 5 years ago?
All right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's been longer than 5 years. I could be wrong about that, but
What if there was a new what if there was a new Cure Demos album that was super awesome, and it was like, something you'd never heard, and you listened to it and you loved it? Would you take the time to put it on your iPod?
No.
Really?
No. It would probably sit on my computer at work. That's about it.
Man, I still listen to, like, I put the albums on my iPod and I drive around with them, because I like hearing how the songs blend and all that stuff that I do to them, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah, blah, blah. This is getting into the minutia that no one cares about. Sorry, Seth.
Yeah.
Everyone, whatever. Everyone's different. I've never even owned an iPod, ever. But
I had the U2 iPod. It was a gift.
Oh, yeah.
Back before U2 put music on your iTunes account.
Right.
Yeah.
Just last week, I finally got U2 off of my iPhone.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah.
It took, I don't know how long that was, almost a year or whatever.
I had to Google how to get rid of it. It's funny.
Because my truck is like automatically synced up with my phone, so every now and then I would get in and it would be a U2 song. Just as soon as I started, it's like, oh, come on. And I have to like quick turn it off or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so Seth, also, the Metal Insider, that's awesome. I just have a quick question about that.
Sure.
I saw the one thing you wrote about Duff McKagan, back to the GNR thing. You wrote some article, right, about him, because he's doing something for Alice in Chains, right? Or
yeah, because he's
the article, but
no, yeah, because he's a pretty accomplished writer. He writes for a newspaper there in Seattle. I could say Seattle Weekly. I don't know exactly. But, he wrote his own book, and now apparently he's going to be writing the Alice in Chains biography. So.
Okay, cool. Well, just, like, when it comes to that, like, is like for that example anyway, is that just something that you just kind of do, use your metal trivia mind that you know everything about metal and use?
Back up. I don't know everything about metal at all.
Okay, well, I'm assuming because you do the metal tip
no.
and whatever that you know.
And I ran a metal blog. I know, no. I will go on the record saying there are so many smart, amazing, gifted metal writers out there that know bounds of knowledge more than me. I just happen to know how to organize it and put up tweets and write.
Trivia question for you.
Oh, God.
Question for you.
Incorrect. I am wrong.
Who really played the lead guitar on Warrant, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich album? Who really played the guitar solos?
Yeah, no idea. Who was it? Really?
I don't.
I'll write it down.
But it wasn't. It wasn't the guys in the band. But I just figured.
Really?
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll have to write that down and use that sometime.
All right.
If I may.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. No, but go on.
Well, no, yeah. My question was more just like, when you do those articles for Metal Insider, are you like calling up Duff McKagan and asking him a couple questions, or
not at all? No, I'm not. No, I don't call. I don't. No, there's no calls. There's no email to publicists or to labels, because I am not compensated as such. So I only take information that's readily available on the internet, quotes, interviews. I'll look up if an artist or someone is talking about in a YouTube interview or something like that. I'll go and listen to the interview to make sure, okay, yes, the person actually said that, or glean other stuff from it. But I also, too, from doing the metal trivia over the years, is I'll try also, like, to really fill out an article, too, is like, I mean, it's one thing to just be like, here's the quote, yeah, he's doing the book or something like that. But, like, also to find, like, the thing with Faith No More, they played Easy on Fallon. And so I went down kind of the rabbit hole of, like, well, why would they play Easy, a cover song from '92? And I found, like,
they did a really good job.
It's fantastic. Well, I found an article in a '93 Billboard online, and they said they started to do that because they didn't like being just a rock band and being marketed as such back in the day. So they would do that cover in the middle of their sets and piss off everybody in the audience. Like, they love to do that. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Well, it was a quote directly from the band. So I'll put that stuff in there, too. So, yeah.
Yo.
Exactly.
So you don't get hey man. So you don't get paid for writing about music anymore, right?
No, I get paid for writing for Metal Insider.
Oh, you do?
Yes. And I also get paid. I'm supported in writing Skull Toaster through my Patreon. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a job.
I guess. I mean, I do several other things too. I do a bunch of email marketing and freelance web stuff too. So.
But you just wake up whenever you want.
Oh no. I that'd be cool, but no. If I would do that, if I would just work or wake up whenever I wanted to, I'd be working till midnight. So, no, I like to get up nice and early and get to work and get stuff done. So, like today, I took a hike in the afternoon because I had all my stuff done. So.
Right on.
I get to make my own schedule, but at the same time, I don't have, I don't have much of a 401k or any of those other fun stuff. I have to pay 100% of my Social Security tax,
right?
Unlike people that work for real places,
So
but
you probably don't have
Womp womp.
Would you say would you say you're a minimalist?
Somewhat, yes. In that, I mean, that started from back in 2010 when I left the city, because I left the city on a bicycle, and I was limited to what I could carry on my bike. So I gave a lot of stuff to friends and this and that. But over the years, no, I've tended to stay minimal. I don't have a lot of stuff, and only because, I mean, over these past since 2011, of like. It was fun because I left the city on my bike and it was like, oh, I'm living the dream, this and that. But things cost money still, and savings don't stay savings when you pull money from them. So since 2011, I was like, no, I should probably find another real job kind of thing, which I've been trying to do since 2011, and that hasn't worked very well. So that, too, has forced me to live a little more economy.
Where do you live, by the way?
Right now, I live in my hometown, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. 2 hours north of Philadelphia and 2 hours from New York City. Yep. So, yeah.
I wish I knew like how many shows we were at together, because like I grew up, well, all around that area, but eventually Doylestown area.
Okay. Yeah, I was just in Doylestown recently. I went to Siren Records.
Nice. Yeah, Siren Records. It's funny. I was looking at my yearbook, which I graduated high school in '98, and I was looking at my yearbook last week or something, and there's a picture of Siren Records in there.
Yes.
It's the old location. Which
yes, I've heard that too. Yeah.
I believe it's like in a much bigger upstairs place, and I was in there once, I think, and it's awesome. I love that it's still there. I love that it's still there. It's so cool.
I was there with my friend Travis on a Saturday night, I think, and there were 4 people working behind the counter, and the place was open till 10 o'clock at night. A record shop.
Yeah.
Like, it was beautiful. I walked out with a stack of like 20 used CDs. It was amazing. I loved it.
Cool. Yeah. We used to go on little trips out to Princeton Record Exchange.
Another beautiful one, yeah.
Amazing, but I mean, that was kind of when Siren was starting out, and I used to go into Siren Records and bring after a tour. If I had like 3 weeks off from tour, don't tell Mike this. I don't think he's listening right now, but like if I had like a few weeks off from tour, I would grab like a stack of CDs, go into Siren Records and put them on consignment. Like, make some extra money, like.
That's awesome.
He says, "Oh, I'm listening." But then I would go on tour and then come back and be like, "Hey, any of those CDs? Oh, I see. There's only 2 of them left here." And here's the money or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just kidding, Mike.
No, that's cool.
I totally made that up.
Hey, let's not act like when we would go out on tour to Seattle and we would visit the Tooth and Nail warehouse. Let's not act like all those CDs that we took we actually wanted them. Those went on the merch table in a special box for like a couple of bucks. Here you go. Here's all these bands that we share a label with that we think are horrible. Buy them for $5.
Yes.
And I can say that now because I don't care about any of that. We're all good.
Seth is.
Time I took a whole box of MXPX CDs.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe you just said that. Come on.
It's all good now, baby. Who cares?
But no. Then I felt bad, and I went right back to them, and I gave them their money. So I didn't make anything. They still made all the money they would have had anyway. So it came to nothing.
But we never played with MXPX again. That's right.
Hey, man.
Hey, Seth, I know I heard you on Bill Powers' podcast.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you became friends with him, because like he's West Coast, you're East Coast, and he's East Coast now, but he's Jersey and you're Pennsylvania.
Right. No, we started talking back in the Buzz Grinder days. Partly when I was doing like Scene Points, my little video show where I made fun of bands and stuff, and we got talking through that. And he worked at Zambui. And he had me write a couple like blog posts on Zambui back then. A little bit of content marketing back in 2007 or so. But yeah, we just kept in touch. And then my first time meeting him was in Nashville. I had just gave my 2 weeks notice to AOL Music, and I went downstairs and met up with him and Bruce Fitzhugh from Living Sacrifice. That was my first time meeting him too. So.
Awesome.
And we've been pals like since, like every now and again when I get through that area, we'll try to get lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's great.
I guess I forgot about his. I knew when he left Tooth and Nail, he went eventually to Jersey, but I guess there was a Nashville stint in there somewhere along.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was down there in early 2011-ish. I was down there for a couple weeks, so awesome city. I've been back since, but yeah, really cool place.
Nice.
So, yeah.
How's it going, Brian?
Brian,
hey, what's up, guys?
Hey. Are you just going to start being a guest? I mean, not a guest, but you should start being a co-host.
You know, man, I almost missed it tonight. I missed it last week because I had a show, and then I almost missed it tonight because my wife was doing like some quarter auction thing, and I was out with her and the kids or whatever, and then I got home and I was like, computer right away. That's why.
And then you came on and you went, hey!
Yeah, I muted it. I had to say, hey, just let you guys know I was here, and then I had to turn around and mute it because I was like shoving Chick-fil-A down my throat.
Awesome.
So,
Has there been anything amazing at the quarter auction?
Nothing special, you know, just a bunch of chicks, you know, doing like 31 and Pampered Chef and all that kind of stuff. So I got suckered into it because she's like, I go to all of your wrestling shows. I go to all of your music shows. She's like, so the least you can do is support me with my Pampered Chef stuff. And I'm like,
That's a good husband.
I get it.
That's just so you know, that's Jen. That's Mike's wife.
Okay.
She's always here, but she's never on screen.
Excellent. Yeah. It's this voice. Yeah.
Always
It's the
yelling.
narration voice. Narration voice. Yeah.
Not always yelling. I'm always correcting Mike. Always correcting
That's all
Mike.
right. It happens. It happens.
Don't let him say that.
She's the
What? Did
voice
he
of
just say
reason.
that?
Hey, Christy came in and yelled at you as well.
Dude, she did. Man, remember that?
Yeah. And then Kelly came in behind you when she was at your house visiting and made an appearance one time. But she didn't yell at me because she never has watched the show, not once.
That happens.
Yeah. But Brian
Until it becomes really, really popular, she won't care.
Right.
Right.
Notice I said until, not if.
That's right. That's key.
Ooh.
It's just a matter of time.
It's hopeful.
Mike, are we like, is everyone allowed to come on now, or did Brian just happen to come on?
No, everyone is allowed to come on. I've posted the join link on our page, my page, Huntington's page. Pass it around if you want.
Okay. So the reason that no one else is here is because we haven't said that everyone's allowed to come on yet. Is that right?
Maybe.
Or because we don't have anyone watching other than
It could be
Brian.
that Seth is not
Well, we're
very
glad to
popular.
have you, Brian.
Might be like the season finale of The Voice or something tonight too. So we have some competition.
Probably, yeah.
Faith No More is playing in New York City tonight, so
Oh.
At the
there's your
Garden?
New York City. I guess.
Trivia question, man.
What?
I got your next trivia question here.
Oh God.
Which band did the Huntingtons tour with whose singer auditioned to be the singer of Faith No More?
Yeah. No. Really?
I have no idea about this.
I don't even know the answer to that question.
Dude, Eddie Migraine. I think he actually used to be in the band or something. Eddie
What?
Migraine?
Dude, you're out of your freaking cotton picking mind, dude.
What?
Eddie Migraine did not do jack crap with Faith No More. Not in a million years.
Yes, he did.
No.
That's not the kind of thing that you make up. You're not like, yeah.
If you're Eddie Migraine, you do.
Wow.
I'm telling you. No, I'm not saying it. I don't mean that as an attack on you, Josh. I apologize. I'm just like,
well, I'm not like
that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Eddie Migraine fan. You're the one that like recruited him to be in your band.
I know. But no, if anybody would have told me about him trying out or him ever being in Faith No More, he'd be talking. I would never be able to get him to stop talking about it. I'm telling you, he did not do that. There's no way. I don't. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, Josh. I'll ask him and see what he says, and I'll report back in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Maybe you're right.
That's
Okay.
actually a
There you
fact.
go. And then I'll be like, dude.
Courtney Love was in Faith No More for a short while, wasn't she? She sang for
Get
a band
out of
for
here,
a brief
freaking
stint.
God!
She was.
That sounds like a lie she would have said.
Yeah. Murdered her husband.
Yep.
Out of your freaking mind. Actually, I don't know. Let me look it up.
That movie's not out yet, is it? Gosh, what's it called?
Something of Heck.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
I think so.
Something about heck. Yeah, I don't know.
There's heck in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Well,
Is it an HBO thing?
I don't know. I've heard people talking about it, but
What is it
There's
supposed to be? What is it?
it's like a documentary-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
About what?
About the death of Kurt Cobain, I believe.
Haven't we already seen those like 10 times? Don't we all?
I guess we need more of
Doesn't
them.
everyone agree that she did it?
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh my.
Doesn't everyone know this?
Yes, everyone. Speaking of Kurt Cobain, he was on that list on Noise Creep,
Oh boy.
loud list, 10 rockers forgetting lyrics on stage. He forgot the lyrics to Polly on stage, and it was on. And now it's
surprising.
Forever.
But why would it matter? All he just mumbled anyway. Who would even know? Yeah. By the way, doesn't she look terrible now with her plastic surgery? Like she looks like Cher, right?
I haven't seen her in a while.
You should look at what she looks like. You get a picture of her in like 2015. Look at a picture of her. You'll be like, daggone. It's like I don't know why these people think plastic surgery is. Well, they're buying into the youth lie in the first place, but you know, it just looks terrible. I don't know why people do it.
Well, just real quick, shooting back to the whole forgetting lyrics thing, and this ties in just a little bit, but not really. I don't know, a little bit. So we went on a vacation last week, and they're on a cruise ship, and there are bands that play throughout the day, mostly cover bands, and there's a couple different like pub type things where acoustic guys get up there and they play, and every single one of them on their mic stand had an iPad attached to it with the lyrics to the songs on the iPad.
Wow.
And I don't really go to shows, and I don't, I'm just not something I do anymore. Is that a thing now? Like every person that plays a show, and if they do cover songs or regardless of what they're doing, they have to have an iPad there to sort of help them?
Yep.
Well, ask Brian Hardy.
Brian Hardy, do you use an iPad?
I don't use one. I'm like highly against it. I actually think it's pretty lame. I'd rather have like humongous lyric sheets down at my feet like Mike Ness does. But I guess it's new technology, so they use that stuff. I know.
Shouldn't it be where you just know your songs and you have to be someone who's gifted enough that the lyrics are just already there for you? That's Mike. That's how Mike did it.
I think if you're getting paid to like play on a ship, like over and over and over again, you should know these songs. Like, well, how do you not know these songs?
Oh yeah.
How's it? Like, what's going on
Well, I
here?
will say, Mike, not everybody has the gift of writing a song or covering a song and the lyrics just automatically being there in their mind when they go to sing it. A lot of people, I know that was a great talent that you had, but like a lot of people, they're struggling and they're trying to think about it all the time, and it's just not an automatic thing for a lot of people. It just isn't.
But I mean, maybe. But this was every single one. Like, I can't think of an exception. Jen's telling me.
I think even
she's here to
I think
correct me.
I think the Mars Volta even did that. I mean, their songs were 18 minutes long, but
Yeah,
I think
after the 17th verse, maybe you can't remember it anymore.
Well, I
right.
know,
Yeah,
well, Guns N' Roses did that, but they had those monitors. I mean, it was super professional.
Mm.
It was just like a screen on the back of their monitor that the audience could never see it, and it was just something,
Sure.
that was, if you're that big and you can be slick like that, that's okay. But to have some obvious thing or even lyrics at Mike Ness puts lyrics at his feet.
Yeah, man, he hires a guy strictly just to like take the sheets away from him, like after every song, and those are the words to his own songs. That's a sad part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe the iPad thing is so they think they'll get in an iPad commercial. Some inspirational,
Playing 20.
No, Jen's trying to make excuses for them, but I see no excuses.
No.
I see none.
Mike never did that ever, right? And you would forget
He
lyrics.
was jealous that they're playing on a cruise ship.
You just mumbled it through it or whatever, and you knew that no one noticed.
That's why your band sucks, Mike. She didn't say that, but that's I've heard that so often that's just what.
Right.
No, it was interesting. Like it was an '80s cover band, and they were unbelievably cheesy. Like I saw this dude walking through. Stop interrupting me, woman. So the drummer was walking through the cruise ship, and he had this Ramones shirt on, and he only had it on because they're doing '80s covers, and they all had jean jackets and stuff like that. And I watched them for a little bit, and the singer just boom, looking at the iPad right there, and it's just like,
You're
holy
on a
cow!
Carnival cruise.
How can you not know the
Come
song the lyrics to these 80s songs? Like, how do you even begin to be a cover band of 80s songs and not know the words, or at least 90% of them?
He was like 22.
Excuse.
It doesn't matter.
I was 22 and
It
I
doesn't-
remember the dang words.
Right, that's the thing. It's
closer to the 80s and lived through.
no, Jen. It doesn't matter. If you're in a band, you practice, you rehearse. You practice and you rehearse. If that's your job as a singer, you practice and you rehearse. That's part of it, is knowing that stuff.
They
You-
also
you might-
have hundreds of songs to play. That same band played early 80s heavy metal and glam rock like the
wow.
night before. So they're not just playing 20...
But they're
30
getting
songs.
paid
Oh,
to
sorry.
get
Hold
paid
on.
money.
Brian, how many songs are in your set list?
80 a night.
80 a night.
And he has lyrics, does he not?
A couple of songs.
See?
The other night was the first night I actually, now that you're on the subject of this, forgot a song lyric. I don't even remember what it was to, but it was the
You're going to be on that list.
I was like,
You're going to be on the
Proving
voice
my
creep
point.
list.
Brian, stop it.
So Brian, you actually took lyric sheets. You took lyric sheets out with you, Brian?
Yeah. And I actually did the other night, too, at a wedding, which was really embarrassing because I played a wedding in Virginia. And it was just embarrassing because they wanted me to learn, like, these 3 songs. And I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And they were paying me, like, $2,400. And the night of the wedding came around, I still didn't learn the song. So I was like, I better hurry up and learn these songs. So it was like 2 hours before the bride was about ready to walk down the aisle. And I'm learning them, pulled them off perfect, but I still had to have the lyric sheets down by my feet.
$2,400?
I just got nervous for you.
Wedding singer?
Oh my
Dude,
goodness.
It's so lame.
is your voice really good or something?
I don't know. I just know how to work the system.
Man, I need to get into some of that. But
The
the
lyrics were like this big, like each was like that big, and I had like sweat running down my face, like I was so scared. But they loved it, and the bride and groom were like all like, "Oh, this guy's amazing!"
That was the best ever, I could imagine.
Pansy, and
Brian, I gotta ask you something, man.
What's up, brother?
While we're on the subject of this, and I hope you don't get mad at me for asking you this, but
No.
this whole what's it called, pop punk revival show that you're doing?
Yeah,
Punk
yeah.
rock revival? What's it called?
yeah.
Punk
Punk rock revival.
Okay. We have guest number 2 being booked by one of our other guests on the show. You've booked Darlington to come play in Baltimore in August, right?
Yes.
And they're the
Correct.
headliner. They're the main act at Punk Rock Revival. Here's the thing, man.
Second.
Oh, they're not the main act? There's another act?
No.
Are you gonna say why are the Huntingtons not playing?
No.
Because why are the Huntingtons not
I
playing?
don't know where he was going with it. I was just gonna say
Yeah, what's going on here?
We went into it that I'm headlining and Darlington's playing right before me, and the only reason that's happening is because he's playing solo. I'm playing with a full band.
Okay.
When are you gonna have the Huntingtons on, man? Punk rock revival? How are we not playing?
I wanted you guys, man. If it was up to me, you guys would be headlining.
Who's it up to?
It's up to me, but it's up to you guys.
You just said if it was up to me, you'd be headlining.
I sent an email out.
I didn't hear anything about it. Are we getting paid?
Yeah.
$2,400.
Mike, you gotta get Mike. Talk to Rick. I'll do it.
All right, keep going, Josh.
Brian did send a
Go
message
back to
out,
Cliff
but
for a second.
the problem is we don't have a band right now.
We don't have a band. We don't have a drummer. I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess. We have a guitar player who doesn't have equipment. We have a bass
Correct.
player who doesn't. We have a bass player who doesn't have equipment.
You sold all
We
your
have-
stuff too?
No, I didn't sell it. I never replaced it after it got stolen.
What have you been playing the last few shows we've done?
I
look
borrowed
who
stuff.
decides to join in right now.
Okay, well, if you borrowed stuff, you can borrow stuff again. I'm gonna have to borrow an amp and a guitar from Josh.
No, yeah.
Understood.
Right. Equipment wouldn't be a big deal. The thing is, we don't have a drummer, unless guy who just joined us.
Chris?
I don't know. Look. it's
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
get-
know. Chris, is Chris even good enough to play for the Huntingtons though? Come on, man.
Chris
come
is
on.
my all-time favorite drummer, man. Like,
All right, but look,
Thanks,
that's
bro.
not my question. I mean,
Our songs are really fast.
Listen, I asked
I don't know.
Mike. I said, Mike, if I try to get us before I try to get us on anything, would you? If I say I get the okay. You guys go ahead and you're opening up for Screeching Weasel, the Queers, and MTX and DC. Then I have to call you up, Mike, and say, hey, they gave us the okay. We're going to play this now. Is there any chance that it would be like, no, that's not good. I don't want to do that. And basically the idea that I got from Mike, and really because of the drummer situation, is like, yeah, well, let's not do that. So I never even asked. I never went there. And so that's why we're not playing any punk rock revival, because that's like not even, like, no offense to punk rock revival, but if we're not going to play with Screeching Weasel, why would we play punk rock revival?
Well, then, Josh, you can just get off your butt, travel to Baltimore, and start practicing your butt off with Chris and make sure he's really good.
Chris is willing to do that.
So there you go. You got a drive, man.
I can play, man. I usually practice along with Good, Bad, and the
Like
Ugly
this?
all the time.
You like this?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like
I
this.
got quick wrists.
All right, so we'll do an audition right now, live.
Does your stick hit the rim and the snare at the same time?
Yeah, I got taught how to do that because you want that snare to pop.
That's right.
That extra pop.
Let me take a second to put Chris over really quick while he's on here, and his head's going to go like this. The best show of my entire life, hand to God, and I mean I've played a lot of them. My best show ever, I walked into the parking lot of a venue, turned around, handed Chris a set list, handed him his pay for the night. Half the set was Ramones covers, the other half the set was Huntington's covers. Chris, myself, and a guy who filled in on bass nailed every song like that.
Why are all these people getting money for playing music? When did this start happening?
This is back. I think we were getting paid like $50 a gig.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was
huge.
Yeah, it wasn't anything
$50
special.
a gig, man. I was making $200 a week when I was doing it full time.
Yeah, but this was like, you'd have to.
And that was after that was only because that was only the main guys in the band got that much. The new guys got 100.
This was like no rehearsal. Like Chris showed up, like literally.
I made $50.
I made $50. Play like a 30-minute set, and we popped it out.
Wow.
Mike,
honestly, what did we do wrong?
Well,
I don't know. I'm wondering if we hired Chris to play a show for us, do we have to fly him in from? Where are you, Chris? Are you like in Colorado or something? Why do you have a sweatshirt on? It's like friggin' 80.
It's freaking no. It's freaking cold in my house, man. It's actually really cold,
It's crazy.
and it's kind of chilly outside. It's been kind of cold the past. I don't want to say cold. It's been like, I don't know. It's been like in the 60s the past couple days. It's gotten down into like the low 50s at night. So. I think.
Yeah, it's cold up here in PA.
Yeah, it's like
look,
I don't know. There's like a cold front coming through. So
Mike and Josh, if you guys want to start practicing with Chris, and you guys tell me yes, he's good enough, he's freaking really awesome for real, and then you guys want to start playing shows again, and we actually get paid money, I'm in.
You just said Josh and practice in the same sentence. Let's just that doesn't.
Well, that's if he wants it bad enough. If he wants to do this again bad enough, he'll really do it.
Josh and I talk all the time about playing together. That would happen.
Yes, he talks about it all the time.
No,
that's the thing.
Do it. You know what? I've been trying to convince Mike for like the last 2 years that he needs to do a cover band because we knew a guy who was making like $2,000 to $2,500 a show. See, and Brian's shaking his head. I'm like, do it like twice a month. That could bring in an extra $1,000 between the guys who are playing in this. Go down to Secrets in Ocean City near Josh, and Mike's lame and won't do it.
But because it's got to be songs. It would have to be songs that we like, and the songs we like, they don't want to hear.
All 80s covers.
You got kids, man. You got to do what you got to do for the kids.
No,
that's right.
No. I ain't gonna be playing. No, if it was a Ramones cover band or something, all right. But I can't be learning Springsteen or something crap like that.
Got you with doing Ramones style in the past.
That's why we're not going to do it in the future.
What now? What happened?
But the point is that the band that she's talking about, 80%. They would actually cover Gangnam Style. Like,
No.
there's no
You have to sell your
chance.
soul to the
There's no
devil.
chance I'm ever going to do that.
Nah,
Was it
man.
Mr. Green Jeans?
Huh?
Wait, what style?
No. It's this really horrible like Korean rap song, and it's the worst thing like in the last decade.
Okay, you're giving us
It's pretty catchy
dream
song.
here.
Yeah.
You can make it fun. I mean, I play
Exactly.
like Green Day and the Clash and stuff like that. I mean, like
The Green Day and the Clash are not Gangnam Style. Not even like remotely close. Like it's not even in the same. It's not that it's not in the same ballpark. It's not even the same sport. Like you're not even.
What's the name of that 80s band that we went to? Your brother, Cliff, likes them. What is it?
Oh, the Green Day.
No. It's like,
I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of '80s band covers. Okay, so yeah,
and they
but
do
there's
really well. We went to that 80s prom.
nah.
No, I wouldn't. I gotta admit, like, I can't imagine playing like ABC or. I mean, maybe I could imagine doing like Josie's on a vacation far away or something like that, you know. But there's not a lot of songs like that, you know.
some nights are brutal, man. You get that request for like American Pie or something like that, and you're like, I don't want to do it, but you know that's what they want to hear.
I really had a serious question for you that had nothing to do with any of that, and it's punk rock revival. Before I ask you that, though, I want to ask Seth real quick. Have you gone to any shows lately, and have you spent any money to go to a show?
Yeah, recently I saw Mastodon play here in my hometown. I paid for that.
Where is that cricket sound?
Mastodon's awesome.
Where's that?
Yeah, I love.
Sound effect. Where is it? How do I get to that?
How much did you
Why?
pay?
What's wrong? How much did I pay?
Yeah, how much was
gee,
Mastodon?
I forget. I want to say like $35 or $40.
Sounds about
And they
Who did
played
play
in the
with?
same Gojira, and that's all I remember. I don't think we saw the opener. I think it was Kvelertak or whoever they are, that Swedish black and roll band or whatever. But yeah, it was great.
And last
they
time
killed.
I saw a concert was 5 years ago. I was turned 40 years old, and it was Kiss, my favorite band of all time. I saw Kiss live for my 40th birthday, which was great. I can't even remember the time that I saw a concert before then. The thing when you
Wow.
Mike can attest to this, I bet. Mike, do you feel like this, that since you learned how to be in a professional band and really, like, being in a band ruined your experience for watching a band? You, like, lost the awe of it and the allure of it because you know what it takes to do it, right?
In the majority of cases, yes.
I mean, it has to be like some major, like Kiss was cool to see, or maybe The Cure would be cool to see for you, but that way. And I don't think it's because of our age. I think it's because we were there ourselves and we know what it takes. So it loses its mystery.
I'll probably never go to a festival show ever again in my life if I can help it.
Oh God no.
Unless Steel
Probably
Panther's
never
playing.
do that again.
Heck no.
And it's because we went to so many of them, we played so many of them. I had no desire to ever be a part of that again.
Yep.
Okay, Josh, continue.
Dude, I say the same thing. When we get to Riot Fest, we're like, oh, this sucks. Why did we come here? And then like the next year, the lineup comes out, and we're like, well, we gotta go. Because they keep outdoing themselves. Riot Fest every year, it's amazing. And
but how is it fun for you to watch those bands when you were in a band doing the same thing and you know 100% exactly what's going on, how to do it, what it's like? Why is it fun for you to watch it from a fan out in the audience standpoint? Like even it doesn't matter who the band is, it's totally boring.
Because they're bringing back these bands that like aren't otherwise gonna go tour or whatever, and bands I've never seen before, and bands that I've seen before that I just like seeing because I know they're fun. I don't know. It's just I really like a lot of.
You have a special gift for being able to enjoy watching somebody play.
Dude, I'm gonna go to that.
I'm like jaded with that stuff, man. It's not fun at all to watch. It's
I'm
so
gonna go to that Screeching Weasel show with your wife, and you know, who knows if we have like whatever backstage access or something, but I'm probably not going to be doing any of that. I'm going to be out in the crowd enjoying it, you know?
You're a nut, man.
Let me go back to Brian Hardy real quick and finish this question. Sorry, my questions take an hour to ask.
I'm sorry.
I got
you keep getting interrupted 3 trillion times.
I got to ask, man. I heard that punk rock revival fest that you're doing is $25 to get in, and
At the door, 20 in advance.
20 in advance, and it's Darlington, and it's the Rockvilles. Awesome, the Rockvilles, great band. You know, crickets, but
Exactly.
What's
such a jerk.
I was gonna say, so, like, what you're getting to basically, like,
He's like
spit it
saying
out.
you're charging all
It's
this
like-
money and there's no reason for people to want to go.
Yeah,
no,
that's what he's gonna
you can't
say.
charge that much. You can't charge 25.
Yeah, I figured that's where you're going with it. Well, the thing is, truthfully, like, truth be told, it's like, I could show you on paper right now, like, what it costs to run the show, and you'd be like, holy shit, I understand why you're charging, you know, $20, $25 a ticket, because it's just, like, the overhead right away from the venue, and then plus, like, Darlington was the only act that I had to give a guarantee to. Everybody else was, you know, it's like they get a certain percentage per ticket sale and stuff like that for every ticket
When you
sold.
have the Huntingtons, we'll get a guarantee.
The Huntingtons would have got a guarantee.
Yeah, dude, come on, stop.
No, that's serious. I put it out there, man. You guys, I emailed you guys.
$3,000.
Christy. I don't know about that. You know.
I bet you could get Pink Daffodils to play. What do you think, Seth?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, not a chance. Look, it was hard enough when we were an active band to actually be active to do anything. Yeah, the chances of that now are very small, very slim.
Like I told Chris today, though, I think the most awesome thing was I had the flyer posted for like 5 minutes, and literally I turned and looked at my wife and was like, check out my cell phone, and it was like 32 notifications from people like instantly like, can I get tickets? Can I get tickets? And I'm like, yeah, when they go on sale, like you can't even get them yet. So at first I was like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking the same thing everybody else is like, how the hell are you going to have like a bunch of guys, you know, like local bands at that, you know, that you're going to charge this much money for and expect people to pay? But then at the same time, when people are already basically saying like, take my money, what? Rockvilles are coming back? What? Darlington's going to be in town? Brian Hardy? All right, cool, take my money. It's like, all right, well now the bills are going to get paid, bands are going to get paid, and it's just going to be a big reunion and a big blast for everybody involved.
Well, Mike, let's do this. Come on, man. For real.
Literally, it's going to be the biggest hangout ever. Like that's all it's going to be.
When is the show?
It's a Sunday afternoon. That's what sucks. But once again, cheapest I could get the venue was on a Sunday afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon, right. August the 30th.
All right. Well, Mike, if they can talk you into it, I'm down.
So we'll just play an acoustic set?
No, dude. No, we'll have Chris Rockville on drums. Josh will have to come to town and practice with them a bunch of times, and we'll all get together and rehearse like the weekend before. It'll be fine.
We can do a we can do a hangout. Absolutely.
We'll just,
awesome
we'll just, yeah, that's awesome. We'll just play the classic songs, man. No brainer. No, it's all simple stuff. We won't even play anything. We could even do like the newest song we'll play is like I'm Not Going Downtown or something.
Well, what we were planning on doing, actually, to let you guys in on, we were talking about, you know, what songs we were going to do and this, that, and the other thing, and we're like, well, we used to cover so many Huntington songs back in the day, and we didn't know if Josh was going to be there, so we were like, you know, it'd be cool to have like a block of like 3 or 4 Huntington songs to do. Have Josh come up and play with us, and then have Darlington's going to be there, and I know Darlington's a big Huntington's fan, and he can come up and sing. So we were like, you know, that'd be a pretty cool moment, and kind of thought, you know, why not do that? So that was kind of, we all agreed, like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. So that was the initial plan, but the real guys would be even better. So
yeah, agreed. 100%. And Mike, there's going to be beer, man. There's going to be beer.
And Mike, you're in good shape. Look at you.
Look at you.
Just look at me. Just look at me.
I'm just saying, man. It's going to be a blast, you know. It's going to be fun for everybody. So
maybe Jen can do it. She's in good shape.
Hey Jen. Hey Jen. Should we do the show, Jen?
When is the date?
I think you're going to be in Disney World.
No, we already did our family vacation this year.
Jen looks fantastic, by the way.
What?
You look fantastic.
Oh,
you look great.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I've
sorry, Mike.
lost
Sorry, Mike.
Like 83 pounds or so.
That looks really good.
Thanks.
I've been following your progress on Facebook.
Chris Rockville wants some of that. Okay, look, August.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh Lord, you
I was just
still
trying to
say
give
the
a
most
compliment.
inappropriate things, Cliff.
What's inappropriate about that?
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, you'll go back and watch it and go, that was perfectly fine.
Sorry, Cliff. Seth, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of Brian.
30th.
You were about to say it, I think.
Steve Carell.
No.
Mike
Good.
Daly.
Thank
No.
you.
Brian Posehn.
Good. Oh wow.
You remind me
Okay.
of Brian Posehn.
Who's that?
Okay. Okay.
He's like a metal. He's like a he's a stand-up comedian / actor / huge metal fan, and
Yeah.
just kind of look like him. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'll take that.
Random
Yeah.
thought.
Been on a few shows. Yeah.
Random thought.
Seth, I want to make sure, because you have so many different things, that we at least get you some form of promo for all of them. Or, we could always just say SethW.com. That has
That's
everything.
it. Yeah.
That's pretty
It's
easy.
a bunch of the stuff.
Great
Yeah.
website there. I bet I know how you got that website. Through Big Cartel.
What?
Is that right? No?
The website? No. You mean the design of it, or
Well, just like, don't
aesthetic?
you do Big Cartel stuff? I'm just learning about Big Cartel. My wife's doing a Kelly and Christy, Cliff's wife. They do a Etsy shop thing, but they're moving it to Big Cartel.
Oh, good. Cool.
But I know you know about that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a Big Cartel for Skull Toaster. But my website, a friend of mine, Jeremiah, he built the framework for the site, the back end kind of stuff. It's all just HTML. There's no it's not WordPress or anything like that. I just hand update the HTML text files because I like doing that.
That's the old days, man. That's awesome. I prefer it that way as well.
Yeah, I love it. I remember years ago getting web jobs, 2006, 2007. And the people I'd interview with be like, oh, do you need Dreamweaver? Do you need... I'm like, no, I'll just do it by hand. I'm like, what? Oh, my God. I like that.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, no, everything's on SethW.com. So,
Right.
what I do.
What's the podcast you do?
The Workbench.
Do with another guy, yeah. Workbench.
Yeah, Bill Meese. Yeah.
And who's that guy?
Bill Meese is a guy I met in the late 90s. He played in A Love for Enemies, and we booked a show out on Long Island. He lives out there with Pink Daffodils, and that's where I first met Bill. And then we played a couple shows between there and upstate New York, in Poughkeepsie, back in the day, and we kept in touch. And then he worked at Face Down Records when I was doing Buzz Grinder. Then he worked at E1 when I worked at Noise Creep. And through all the years we just kept in touch, and we were always talking about nerdy stuff. And so every time I would hang out at his place, we'd talk about apps and stuff, and gawk about the 4-Hour Workweek book or something, or whatever the 37 Signals guys were doing and stuff. So we're like, why don't we just make a podcast? And so we did. We're up to episode 18 now, so 17 or 18. So it's been fun, yeah.
You do it? Is it on iTunes, or do you do SoundCloud, or how do you do it?
It is on iTunes. Yeah, you can search Workbench Podcast. We should come up there, or in whatever podcast app you use. Search Workbench Podcast.
Yeah. I like podcasts, man. I'm really enjoying Bill Powers' podcast, and Jay Baker has a podcast now, and it's just interesting. Jay Baker had Henry Rollins on, then he had what's the guy, the porn guy, the fat guy,
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. He had Ron
Wow.
Jeremy. And they're like, why? How is that happening? But he was actually on some reality show with his mom back in the day, so that's how.
Yeah.
Podcasts are definitely interesting, and I used to enjoy doing it until Mike got me doing this show, and then I just haven't got back into it.
Yeah, the thing about podcasts is interesting is because as doing music blogs over the years, it just became everybody was able to do a music blog. Like if you could copy and paste a press release and write a headline, you were a music blogger, and you could make money doing that as recently as a few years ago, or still now to a degree. But the podcast thing is just like the barrier to entry is like so high now, at least. Like the whole iTunes thing is still this mystery for a lot of people. Like, how do you host it? What do what mic do I get?
Right.
And it's kind of like you could do all that stuff. You could have all that stuff nailed down, but if you just suck at doing it's not good. You can't fake it. Like, you can't copy and paste anything. So, which is why I think the podcast stuff is amazing these days. You're seeing some really good stuff. So,
Yeah.
That's my podcast rant.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I've not checked out your podcast yet, but I will.
Oh, good. It's there. Yeah, Workbench. Does what cost money? Our podcast? No, it's free. A whole bunch of these podcasts are free. Yeah, Jay Baker's and all them. Yeah, they're free. Yep.
How do you make money on it?
A handful of them pay the bills by reading ads. There's companies out there that'll sponsor podcasts. So they'll be like, okay, now we're going to, this episode's brought to you by blah, blah, blah. So a handful of them do it that way. Another handful do it with stuff like Patreon, where they get paid like per episode or per month and stuff. So that's how you make your money.
Or you can just do like a donation. Hey, we're trying to pay for this podcast. Go to this or whatever. Click on this or whatever, and you can donate or whatever. And that's like Billy Powers' podcast. He sells T-shirts for the Urban Achiever.
And mugs, coffee mugs. Yeah.
On, man.
Yeah, totally. You should.
But yeah. Anyway, what else we got? I think I covered all your stuff. We didn't really talk about your bike travels too much, but.
Did you bike all over the whole USA?
Most of the USA. I made it out to Oklahoma City. I went down the whole East Coast and over to Austin and then up to Oklahoma City. Then I did a bike trip by myself. Yeah. Well, I did a handful of it with Greyhound buses. I bought a big bag that I could put my bike in, throw it under the Greyhound, and go to different cities.
Oh, I thought you were like literally biking across the USA. Okay.
No, because
that's a lot of miles. My goodness.
Yeah, no, because what I did then was I enjoyed actually. When I was on the East Coast doing that a whole lot, I would ride my bike. I would get to a friend's house like 60, 70 miles later, and it'd be exciting to see my friends finally, after a while. But I'm like dripping with sweat and covered in salt and road dust, and it was just like So I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So it was kind of like, how about we just go from the bus station? Like I'll ride from the bus station to your house or something like that. So it got a lot more peaceful that way. So
I know.
I also did. I took a folding bike and did a Amtrak from Miami, Florida to Portland, Maine, in like 12 days or 13 days.
Wow.
That was super. Yeah, that was a whole lot of fun. It was fun. None of that was financially responsible, but whatever. I loved it. So
I had a. What was that movie with Tom Hanks when he had the disability in the movie? What's that movie called?
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I was picturing Forrest Gump jogging across the entire USA, but you on a bike, and I'm thinking, what the
Right,
heck?
no, I was just riding a lot of Greyhound buses, and
That's cool.
yeah, hanging out and stuff. Yeah, it was great. I got to meet up. It was funny, I got to meet up with a lot of just old friends from doing Buzz Grinder over the years. So it was really cool. Like,
I know.
after all those years. Yeah. So I did that for a while. Then I got hurt. Like I was riding so much, I actually wore my body out. My body tapped out and said you can't keep doing this. I was riding 125 miles a week, and so yeah, my body didn't like that. So I had to slow down.
What injury did you get?
It was nerve damage actually, and my fingers would go numb because I was riding so much. Yeah.
But you don't even exercise because of the pressure on your palms. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pressure on their palms and just the constant movement and all that stuff. Yeah. Yep, the road vibration.
Yep.
And yeah, like I would wake up at like 4 in the morning. Like, you know that feeling when your arm's asleep, like when you
Right.
wake up and you just shake it out and it wakes up? Well, it
Yep.
wouldn't wake up. It would like stay like that for like 2 hours. And then that hurts.
Did you freak out and go to the hospital?
No, not at all. Of course not. I just went on bike message boards and said, "What is this?" And then other people said, "Oh yeah, it goes away after a month." Like, all right, cool, and it did. So
So that's what happened? So you're good now? It just went away?
yeah, I have a bike now and stuff. I don't ride 125 miles a week anymore, but you know, I'm okay. Yeah, my fingers aren't numb.
That's
thankfully. Yeah. Yeah, I can't have that happen.
All right, Mike, what's the plan?
What's that?
I just, sorry, yeah, you can keep going. I was just like, oh, hi, Cliff. Hi, Christy. I was going to say...
did you guys see that? I'm sorry.
I saw it. Probably I'm the only one who saw it because I was the one.
See it.
Christy just reached in and snuck some action out of Cliff. But
Oh, nice.
but no, I didn't know, Mike, what's the deal here? We're almost at an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the initial idea was to keep it to an hour and a half, and we've never stuck to that. So we can wrap up if everybody's cool with that.
Cool.
Cool. We'll off air and kind of say our things off air. But Seth, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, it was a blast. Good time.
Great
Yeah,
to see
definitely.
you, man.
Yeah, man. You too.
Before you go, we're gonna make this at least a question for this week. It might die after this week, but we had a reasonably lengthy discussion last week with some of the people on this panel and some additional people about. I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. About their opinions on a particular pop artist, and we're just gonna throw it at you real quick because I'm gonna think that you probably. I'm just going to keep my thoughts in the back of my head, but we'll see what you think. Okay, so everyone that's in this room right now answered. Actually, Brian wasn't here 2 weeks ago, but everyone else answered this question. A few more people did too. Johnny Walker answered this question too.
I did?
I think you phoned in your answer. Remember when you were on the phone?
Was it that it sucked? Probably, right?
Probably, yeah. But in any case, real quick, before we go off air, Seth.
Yes.
Thoughts, opinions
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yes.
on Taylor Swift. Anything you want to think.
Rad lady, does what she wants, does what she does. I'm cool with it.
You gonna turn a
Taylor
song
Swift?
off if it comes on the radio?
Well, I don't really listen to the radio, so
Dang
I'd
it.
probably let it on. Yeah.
Leave it on. Okay. All right. No, I like that answer. Okay. Not that I have to like it, but that's cool. It's appropriate.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So we had a big conversation about that last week, and just trying to get people's opinions on her because she seems to be the biggest thing in pop these days. So.
Right. No, I'm down with TS. I mean, I probably couldn't name any of her songs, but you know, I am a user of Tumblr, and I see a lot of memes go around and this and that from some pretty rad people, and you know, the stuff that she writes about and sings about, she gets a lot of flack for, but whatever. I usually see it then too. Like I said, I'm on Tumblr, so I see a lot of varied opinions out there, and no, I think it's cool whatever she wants to write about and sing about.
Brian
As a
Hardy
dude-
likes her because she plays the Gibson, so Brian likes her.
Wow, yeah, no, I didn't know that part. That changes a lot, actually. I don't like her. No, I'm kidding.
I was a similar reaction to you, Seth, and I think it's just because we don't have kids. I feel like Mike is so in tune with Taylor Swift because he's got 3 kids. And
I have kids, and I'm not in tune.
they don't listen to her, though. Like, it's
My wife
like Mike's being
turns it
influenced
on
by
sometimes.
kids at this point.
Yeah, it's all good. Can't
Hey,
know
I watched
everything.
the Bubble Guppies, man. I'm a big fan of Big fan. Their music is awesome.
Well, that will be the question.
Little Froggy!
In 2 weeks from now, we'll pose that question to everyone on the panel. We'll say, "What are your thoughts on the Bubble Guppies?" And we'll get different opinions.
Nani is so cool.
All right, but for now, we'll go off air.
Wait.
Seth, thank you. Yes, go ahead, Josh.
Yes, I forgot like the most important thing that I wanted to mention about Seth, our guest. On
Yes.
SethW.com, like the very first thing you come to, it says thoughts. You got like 3 or 4 like
Oh yeah,
things.
my little things. Yeah.
Little thoughts. Those thoughts, like I don't know that I've ever done this, but when I saw that, I actually like copied it and like, or I think I took a screenshot. That's what I did because it was on my phone. I was like, these are some really good thoughts, and I want to know, are they your thoughts first of all, and then we'll say what they are. Are they
Right?
yours?
Yeah, totally my thoughts. But you're gonna have to remind me because I don't remember what.
Well, one was what's your Facebook exit strategy? I was like,
yes.
Good question. I would love to get out of it. I can't get out of it because of work, but you're not on it at all, right?
No, not at all. No, I got off there like 2 years ago. The idea there is just like a lot of bands and management and labels put a lot of effort into MySpace back in the day. Where is it today? It's it's all gone. And we're doing the exact same thing with Facebook, with Twitter, with all the social media stuff too, putting all this effort into it. And what's ultimately how do we capture what we're doing there in these social media spaces? Where do we capture that for us in a place that we can keep stuff for us? So when that social media network does go down someday, it's okay because we have a large user base that we already captured from it. Mostly like an email list kind of thing, or getting people used to, hey, check out our tour dates on our website kind of stuff. So.
The old days. Remember the old days? Yeah. Every band had a message board and people hung out there all the time?
Yes.
Not anymore.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, and Facebook doesn't even let you talk to all your fans kind of stuff. And Twitter, I'm sure, someday soon will do the same thing. So that's my Facebook exit strategy plan.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so... It's one of those things, man. I don't know how I can get off it. Like, for work reasons...
that's a huge one, right? Yeah, I run into
And there's other things like I wonder how that person's. Like last week again, the yearbook thing. I had my yearbook out, and it's because somebody asked me on Instagram to put my yearbook picture up, so I did.
Right.
But because I got that out, I flipped through it and hadn't looked at it in forever. And, and then I saw this girl that I was friends with in like math class, and I was like, Kelly, oh my gosh, this girl. I was like, this girl was like so cool. We were really good friends. I wonder what she's doing. I found her on Facebook.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, look. And I'm like showing my wife, this is my friend from 10th grade. I forgot about her. But it's Facebook, But yeah, I would love to be off of that, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm trying to figure out my strategy.
I don't miss a second of it. I mean, I have friends that like left Twitter or Instagram and this and that, but we just keep in touch over email, and every now and again phone calls, stuff like that. So
yeah,
going old school.
All right, one other thing I wrote down here. This is one of your thoughts, and there's some other ones. I'm just going to encourage people to go to SethW.com and read them all for yourself. But this one, I think this really appeals to our show.
Okay.
Fall in love with your audience, not traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't have traffic.
Well, no, the biggest part about that is just like whoever's tuning in, whoever's in front of you, whether it's online or at a show, the most important people are the people that are standing directly in front of you. That's my biggest thing against this hashtag stuff is this idea of I'm guilty of it. I started doing it on Skull Toaster back in the day. My metal trivia thing, I would hashtag metal, so people randomly searching for the word metal might find it. But it was just like, no, this looks stupid. Like, the people that are reading this now are most important, and I don't like reading the hashtag thing. It's a link. It's an extra thing and so no, the most important. And I've actually with Skull Toaster, I've tried my best to not do stuff. I've tried my best to not grow my social media stuff the way everyone tells you to, like with hashtags or I could easily, every metal trivia question I do, I could throw in the band, their at symbol thing, like, oh, at Whitechapel, name their third blah, 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 like, oh, I hope Whitechapel retweets this.
Right.
And I've had that happen, like back in the day, bands would retweet, or I remember one time after I left Noise Creep retweeted one of my questions to like their 25,000 followers. Oh, this is big, this is huge, I'm going to get more followers, and I got no followers. Like, no one gave a crap. So, if they don't care, because it's just this ancillary little thing, so it's just like, no, I'm just going to keep it here for my people in front of me. If it's good, they'll spread it, and it'll grow, and it's grown. So, that's kind of my thing there.
Good man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That
People in
reminds
front of
me
you,
of.
yeah.
That reminds me of. I don't know if you know. Do you know who Mike Rowe is from the 77s?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I think so.
I mean, something he said one time that always really struck me a long time ago was that the importance of tending the garden that you have instead of worrying so much about making it big that you don't even tend what you actually have. And
Right.
it was just awesome. I just loved that whole thing. So yeah, right on, man.
Yeah, and in keeping things small, like with Skull Toaster, like I only have like 950 followers, but like a year or so ago it was 7 or whatever, and like through those years, the audience I have, like I've learned how to make mistakes in front of the people I have in front of me. Like if I goof up a question, like I'm glad I don't overnight have 25,000 followers, because I'd slip up and be, oh, this guy's a jerk, but like no, like I already have this audience that I've grown with. And yeah, to your point, exactly, like as a band, like the music you write that resonates with the audience in front of you, like I mean you got to think of them halfway through the part of it. So the shows that you're playing and the music you're writing, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my thoughts.
It's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
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 All right, Mike, wrapping it up. Thanks, Seth,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
again.
on. And
Absolutely.
we do this every 2 weeks, so if you are completely bored out of your mind, you can feel free to join us and talk to us every 2 weeks.
We'll see. Send a link. Yeah. Keep me on your email list for sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
Josh, Cliff, Chris, and Brian, thanks for hanging out.
Cool, thanks. Good seeing you guys again.
Yeah. Do it again in 2 weeks. Don't really know who the guest is yet, but we'll figure it out.
The
Yeah,
wives.
the wives show, right?
wives.
Why?
It'll be cool.
Are they actually going to come on, though?
Christy would come on, yes. I would have her on, and I won't even be on. I'll just have her on instead. It'll be more interesting for you guys. She's much prettier.
So we're just gonna have Christy on as a guest then, and she's our guest, and but then what about, is it the wives or is it Cliffy's wife?
No, Kelly should be there, and Jen should be there.
I think
Excuse
Christy,
me?
Kelly, and Jen should just do the show. You guys shouldn't even be on.
Oh, that would be
Just
yeah,
do
I agree. That would be
Absolute girl talk.
I
Absolute
would
girl
watch
talk.
that. I would watch it for sure.
The absolute awesome
watch
live
it.
show.
But all right, cool. I'm going to stop broadcast. Hang tight. We'll talk a little bit off air. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. See you guys later.
Bye.